Designer scents for the winter of 2022 through 2023 time. Hello, my darling nostrils. Dr. Magnifiscent here. Welcome to the Nashville Nose. Winter is coming. Well, I guess technically winter is already happening. And if you're a lot like me or Ned Stark, you're not too happy about that. I guess you could say winter is crappening. I can relate. I'll admit, I'm not a winter person. I don't like to be cold. Luckily, it never gets extremely cold in Nashville, but I have traveled places which inevitably begs the question, why do people live here? But a lot like fragrance, temperature comfort is subjective. I get that. Because I also don't like it when the house is too warm either. Like, it'll be 78 degrees in the house and Emily will still be wearing a hoodie with a throw blanket 6 inches away from a space heater, to where I'm thinking, well, I guess I'll just throw on a Speedo and hang out in front of the open refrigerator. Guess I have a slim window of comfort. But the absolute worst is being outside in the winter with the cold wind slicing right through your flesh like Pinhead's meat hooks. Did everyone have a happy Halloween, by the way? The only saving grace for me making the, using the term loosely, winter wonderland something worth, again loosely put, looking forward to, are my winter fragrances I get to wear. I just love the deep, dark, rich, resinous scents with beast mode performance. Built to cut through the cold air. Again, like Pinhead's meat hooks.
Jesus wept.
Ooh. That's gotta hurt. I usually reach for niche fragrances during this season because more times than not, they provide that darker, more bold and daring robustness I crave in the cold months. But today I want to share with you 10 perfect designer scents built for winter. A brief recap on the definition of niche versus designer. Designer usually means a brand which also designs and sells clothing. You know, like the name clearly states. They're from design houses.
Pretty self-explanatory.
And usually niche perfume brands strictly make nothing but fragrance. So on the flip side, designer scents are usually less creative, but also less expensive, more generic and weaker performing, but more mass appealing. I mean, obviously their clothing will be their top priority. But just like my designer fall list this year, I have painstakingly scoured the planet for designer fragrances with niche quality, uniqueness, and performance. And now I get to share these incredible discoveries with you. All are special, unique, and will make you stand out this winter. Not only will they get you noticed, but they just smell so darn good. I personally love and wear the heck out of them, so what do you say? Let's get into these frigid weather heart warmers. First on my list is a fragrance called Subscribe. Ooh, got ya! Sorry, that was a little tricky, but yeah, if you dig what I do here, consider subscribing. Feel free to also share this channel with anyone you know who may find this info useful. I'm sure someone popped into your head just now. Text this over to them right away. They'll thank you for it later. Trust me. You know what they say? If they stank, they will thank. Okay, nobody says that. All right, enough messing around. Here we go. My top 10 designer scents for the winter of 2022 through 2023. The Doctor is now in. Let's start with a brand new 2022 release that got me all
Toasty inside.
when I heard they were finally releasing a Parfum concentrated flanker of one of my all-time favorite designer scents from one of my all-time favorite designer brands. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah! Holy s***! Where's the Tylenol?
Ooh, grab me some too, would you, Clark? Welcome to the family, Tom Ford's Noir Extreme Parfum. In that
beautiful.
solid 24 karat gold bottle. That's right, the bottle is pure gold and retails for about $89,000 an ounce. I'm totally kidding. It's finally now available on discounters. In case you missed it, I do have a full review and buying guide for this and my top flankers from the Noir line. But just to basically sum it all up, I'm so glad they retained that delicious, mouth-watering Kulfi note from the original Eau de Parfum, but miraculously made this blend even sexier with the addition of leather and a nice smooth touch of oud in the background. Vanilla, cardamom, amber, tonka bean, a nice ginger note, making the open actually a tad fresher than the EDP. It evolves on the skin a little bit more, not as loud of a projector as the Eau de Parfum, but definitely hangs around longer. I think old Tommy knocked it out of the park with this release, and I'm just so happy it exists. Now let's shift gears to a timeless classic, and quite a gem on the more affordable end, I might add. Spicebomb Extreme by Voktor and Rolf. This qualified as a quintessential Christmas scent in my 12 Sprays of Christmas video last year, and it just fits that mood perfectly. It's been compared to Tobacco Vanille, also by Tom Ford, and it does have that similar tobacco, cinnamon spice, and everything nice. Especially for the price, because this is a much cheaper, still high quality alternative. Easy to snag up on discounters, and also one easy to dismiss if you find the presentation corny. Although I personally love this silly looking grenade bottle. It's even got a fun little pin you gotta pull. Oh! Oh god! Oh no! No! Oh! Fire in the hole! Oh! Whew. Whew. That was a close one. I personally didn't expect it to be as good as it is by just looking at it. If it wasn't for the hype from other reviewers like Dallas at Chaos Fragrances, or John at Refinery Fragrances, or Brian at My Two Cents, I probably never would have given it a chance. So therefore, I'm here to continue the hype because I think it's da bomb. If you like cinnamon and love tobacco like me, yeah, it's a must own. Oh no! Not again! Oh no! Woo! Must have been a dud. Okay, moving on to a much less dangerous one. And speaking of cheesiest presentation, another one I probably never would have given a chance if not for the hype. One spoken so highly of, it's No Limits by Philipp Plein. This is a presentation I do kind of hate, yet kind of love at the same time. Love the concept of the bottle looking like a big fat credit card. Hate the execution with that silly looking skull. Like, what were they thinking? You were so close. You could have done something a little more classy. That's just me. It's a little douchey, but god damn! What a scent. It's one of the best uses of a dark chocolate note in designer scent history. A note which can be very hit and miss depending on the rest of the blend. Even if you love the smell of chocolate, it sometimes can smell a bit weird in fragrance if used incorrectly. I felt assured though, considering the online praise from other fragrance lovers I know and trust, and the fact that Alberto Maria's was the perfumer. Then you factor in the price and voila! The ultimate blind buy safe scent, I guess. I mean, even if you hate it, at that price, just give it to someone. And if they don't like it, then they'll give it to someone else. Like the sisterhood or brotherhood of the traveling perfume bottle. Turns out I ended up loving it so much, from the full scent development to the performance, that I immediately ordered a backup bottle. Sweet and sexy with dark chocolate, bourbon, vanilla, cardamom, cloves, amber, leather, patchouli, and woods, including oud. That's right, another rare, incredible designer scent utilizing oud. I also have a first impressions and full review on this right there if you want more detail. But I have to admit, this next one takes the note of oud to another level. I'm sure you're all well aware of how much of a fanboy I've become for Stronger With You, absolutely. But holy fucking jumpin' shit balls. I couldn't put my credit card information in fast enough when I found and pounced on Stronger With You oud. Another one I impatiently bought at retail before it hit the discounters. Oh, it's so good though! I had to nab it as soon as humanly possible. God, I was so excited when it finally arrived and I sprayed it for the first time. It did not disappoint. It's everything I'd hoped it would be, and then some. Wow. All I can say is, wow. Another one I immediately ordered a backup bottle of, because I wasn't 100% sure if it was gonna hit the discounters, honestly. I didn't know if it was just gonna be a short exclusive release, or if it was just gonna get bought up and sold out forever, and then they were just gonna discontinue it. Break my heart like that. But it is on discounters now. You could find it on things like Fragrance Buy. It's phenomenal in my opinion on all anticipated factors. Being a designer release, it has that safety net of possessing the designer ease of wear, yet that powerful, exquisite oud to satisfy my adventurous side, and a really gorgeous, sharp, rough and tumble, rugged leather note. Yeah, I love that leather in there. Just like how I mentioned in my fall videos how Tom Ford's Oud Wood or Creed's Royal Oud are like introductory ouds. This is right along those lines. It's that perfect balance. Although this may be a tad on the more challenging side to certain palates. Therefore, I highly recommend you get a sample first. Live with it and see if it speaks to you in the same words of love it hithers to my nose ears. Whatever that means. Okay, we rattled off some sweets, some cozies, some dark and sexies. How about a fun, playful, and more dynamic and lively one for the winter party? Because when it's cold outside, you can tear up the dance floor in that hot sweaty nightclub. Yves Saint Laurent's Oil Parfum leans more towards a youthful clubbing-like scent, with apple, aldehydes, grapefruit, and ginger, similarly prominent in the YSL Eau de Parfum, but the Le Parfum restrains itself from crossing the line into that super sweet, party boy, bubblegummy, 1 million Invictus Eros territory. There are traces of that, but it still has a distinguished barrier of maturity and class, which I believe comes from the combo of patchouli, cedar, and olibanum, with sage and lavender slotting this into the fougere genre, and you detect some of those elements, especially as it dries down. It reminds me of what they did with Sauvage Elixir in comparison to the others from that line. Oil de Parfum is a good tribute to its original DNA, but gives it this niche-like interesting twist. When I'm in the mood to paint the town red and wear a dance club-worthy scent, this provides that for me while not neglecting my taste for the more captivating and sophisticated things in life. Paco Rabanne's Pure Excess Night is another flanker of a youthful party-like scent, but takes it to an even more sensual gourmand-like space. While Oil Parfum stays fun and playful, Pure Excess Night I feel is an ideal date night seductive scent, especially if you're on a budget. Your date won't be able to tell how much you spent on it, don't worry. It's another cheapy winner in my opinion, and another designer scent utilizing chocolate. But instead of dark chocolate like in No Limits, this is more on the dry, dusty cacao side. But the addition of vanilla, caramel, and cinnamon makes this a satisfying scent for all my sweet tooth nostrils out there. I mean, I hope you don't literally have teeth in your nostrils. You know what I'm trying to say, right? It's not all sweets though. I think ginger, myrrh, and the rarely used note of ginseng shifts this away from just being a straight up tooth-rotting gourmand. I do find this blend oddly fascinating, yet much like nearly all on this list today, still incredibly pleasing and easy to grasp. And for the price, you can't beat it. But let's say you're on a really tight budget. If you came up to me and said, Doc, I want to smell really great this winter for under 40 bucks. Well, I would recommend Bentley Absolute. Yeah, a car brand fragrance. My snobby past self would have slapped me for buying this, but I have to admit, it's solid. Very rarely will you find a scent this good for this cheap. And it's 100 mils, so you get a lot of juice for that price. It's a really nice, dry, amber woody with sandalwood, papyrus, cedar, oak moss, and just a hint of oud. Not oud-centric at all, really. It's nothing hugely unique, but this isn't about me. It's about my dearest nostrils wanting to smell fantastic on the cheap. Cheap, cheap. You'll at least smell like you own a Bentley. So if that's you, I recommend you give her a test drive. Yeah, you get it because it's a car. Okay, there's your token bargain barrel bullion. Now we're gonna shift gears. Get it because the car to a higher priced Privé blend from the house of Dior. Side note, ooh, haven't done one of those in a while. There's some debate about whether private blends from designer houses fall more into the niche category, but like Oud Wood by Tom Ford, which I mentioned in my designer fall list, I'm going to include Dior's Fève Délicieuse in my winter designer list this year, on the technicality of being produced by a design house. But your voice is quite valuable on this channel. Let me know in the comments where you think designer private blends lie. Fève Délicieuse is a beautiful vanilla leather bomb, mixed so nicely with lavender, mint, jasmine, cherry, tonka bean, cacao, caramel, benzoin, milk, sandalwood, and the delicious note of praline. Yummy. Sweet, seductive, elegant, incredibly androgynous in my opinion. I would even go so far to say one of the most feminine leaning fragrances in my collection, but oh my God, does it smell so good on me. I even feel like over the year I've had it, it's been just aged to perfection and it's even sexier now. I feel like the color's gotten darker. I describe Fève Délicieuse as this elegant balance between sweet and professional. Like this to me would be a perfect office scent if you prefer fragrances leaning more towards the feminine side of the scent spectrum. My girl Emily also loves this one on me and she's the boss when it comes to my scents. And if she likes it, I love it even more because I get to wear it around her. I think what she and I love the most about this scent is how distinguished it smells while still smelling incredibly natural. She doesn't like fragrances with heavy synthetic smelling aroma chemicals. Now, I'm sure the ingredients in this, much like nearly all modern fragrances, especially from designer brands, ain't gonna be using naturally distilled essences from premium organic materials.
It Is this organic?
Which I'm fine with if it's done right. And this one is done right. Blended to perfection, performs like a champ, one of my favorite vanilla dominant scents of all time, right here. Speaking of Dior, why don't we discuss one from the Dior Homme line? Not Dior Homme Intense this time. No, that was for the fall. For this winter, words cannot describe how excited I am to finally own this. The tragically long gone, discontinued, extremely difficult to find, but a heavenly scent from this line. Why they cut this one off, I will never know, because for me, it's the greatest rendition of the entire Dior Homme family. Folks, be jealous, for I am now a proud owner of the highly coveted Dior Homme Parfum, and it did not disappoint. It's pure magic. eBay is probably your best online source with the best chance of finding it. Beware though, there's a lot of bootleggers on there. I got really lucky and found it on there for fairly cheap. Fairly being the key word here. Unfortunately, if you do stumble across it for a too good to be true price, chances are it is. It's either a counterfeit or purposely watered down. Bastards! But I have no reason to believe this isn't authentic. I ended up finding a used one from a reputable seller with like 90% of the juice left, because there's no way I was going to be able to afford a sealed one. They're practically an endangered species at this point. Now, I plan on making a comparison video between Dior Homme Intense and the Parfum in the near future, because there are a lot of similarities and differences, but my consensus was pretty much right on the money. And considering the prices some people are charging for the Parfum on eBay, right on the big money. Similar, but thicker and more dense, and maybe a little sweeter and more powdery, but also a little more rugged, if that makes sense. Still getting that beautiful powdery iris, but in the open you get a nice fresh and sweet citrus with Italian orange. And instead of lavender like Intense, this one has rose. And I love the addition of the rose in this blend. It just takes it to a deeper, more refined level. I mean, this is my favorite Dior Homme ever created. Such a shame it's gone. But I'll leave you with this, just because I like it. Dior Homme Intense is really incredible too. So if you don't want to spend that discontinuation tax on this rare unicorn, Intense is the perfect sub. It gets the point across in a really similar way. The differences are nuanced, but still fascinating. Therefore, an in-depth comparison video will be a blast for me to make, and hopefully a joy for you to watch. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course it will. Nothing but solid gold on this channel. How dare I sell myself short? Come on, Doc, you're a legend. I know. And we're gonna wrap up this list with another Parfum flanker, this time from the Azzaro Wanted line. This is the recently released 2022 Azzaro Wanted Parfum. I made a buying guide video for the entire Azzaro Wanted line. I'll be editing and uploading that real soon, keep an eye out. And the whole line is really great for the price. The Parfum is priced slightly higher, but I can still give it my stamp of insanely great cheapy. Wanted by Night is a go-to fall scent for me, but now that it's getting colder out, I have been gravitating more towards the Parfum. It definitely performs a lot better on me than Wanted by Night, and junctions into a much deeper, sexier, less sweet, less generic gourmand than the Most Wanted Eau de Parfum. I don't know if it was their intention, but I feel like the Parfum, at least on scent profile, seems to lie right between the two aforementioned. I mean, even on presentation, if you look at the 3 bottles right in a row, you kind of get that idea. But instead of tobacco and spices like in Wanted by Night, the Parfum is much more woody, along with some ginger in the open. And instead of sugary toffee like in the Most Wanted EDP, this is just modestly sweetened with a nice, creamy, almost boozy vanilla. I think it's a great release, nothing too out there, very much still on the safe side, but I dig the Wanted DNA at its core. Azzaro in general has become another one of my all-time favorite moderately priced designer houses. I dig a lot of them from the Chrome line. I love the Pour Homme line. Kind of like Versace, they're just a solid designer brand for those looking to smell great on the cheap. Cheap, cheap. Well, there you have it, my slightly frostbitten nostrils. Not to worry, these 10 cents will warm your soul soul. Can't say the same for your body. Gonna need a coat for that. And it would warm my soul greatly if you would consider supporting this channel by doing any or all of the following. Subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss my winter niche list coming soon. Oh, that'll be a fun one. Also, if you'd be so kind to give this video a thumbs up, you don't even have to give it 2 thumbs up. Just 1 will suffice. Not that hard, right? Send this video to all of your cold-hearted pheromone challenge friends and family if you think they could use a hug. All these scents today kind of feel like a big hug when you splash them on. And leave me all your thoughts, questions, opinions, criticisms, jokes at my expense, right down there in the comments. I don't care, I don't judge. Because it's not just a fragrance channel, you snowflakes. It's a nice warm your hands by the fire community. See you back here again soon, my nostrils. Until then, stay warm, stay cuddly, stay snuggly, wuggly buggly. But most important, stay smelly. The doctor is out.